Network, and you are watching Headlines Today.
Center Stage, brought to you by Shiva's Live with Chivalry Music CDs and Get Lucky. Get active on Monster.com.
The police and the government have to answer now. Citizens must stop the photo activism and act now. An action plan to make cities safer must be implemented now. To you live from India Gate, the epicenter of India's rage, and we can hear just one cry. Change must begin, and it must begin now.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching a special edition of Center Stage being brought to you live from India Gate. Right behind me you can see thousands of young protesters coming out into the streets to protest the dastardly Delhi gang rape. The question of course is, how do we ensure that this outrage is converted into concrete action? It shouldn't be once again that people, after having protested, go back into their homes only for another rape to hit the headlines in a couple of weeks from now. I'm joined by one of India's best known police officers, Kiran Bedi. Welcome, thank you very much for coming here. Meenakshi Lekhi from the BJP is with us. Also a social activist and actor, Shabana Azmi. We've also got several other guests who will be joining us. Ranjana Kumari is here, Anjali Rai is here. We'll talk to them, but I want to begin this broadcast by showing our viewers about the depraved mentality of police personnel. Just see how in this story police personnel very close to the national capital actually say that women bring rape upon themselves. These are officers who've been caught on candid camera who seem to believe that women are asking to be raped, and these are the sort of people who are policing our streets. How can young girls expect to be safe? How can they expect that justice will be done when it is such brutes who are sitting inside police stations and are in charge of law and order? Take a look at the shocking story.
आप मुझे किस तरीके से रास्ता आपने सॉफ्ट ऑर्डर दे दिया उसको चलने के लिए। हमारे तय करते हुए कि आपने लीव दी, हम आपको दोगे और आपने हमारे साथ फिर ना चाह के ये कर दिया। The sex is consensual. सेक्स जो होता वो परमिशन के साथ होता। लोगों को ये पता लग गया कि ये अच्छा कैसे तुम्हारे पास मिला। अच्छा पैसे कमाने का धंधा, बिजनेस, राइट। वो ऑब्जेक्ट इज कंसेंशुअल। वो अगर मान लो मैंने देख लिया या नहीं देखा, वो कहे कि मैं आपको 2,000 10,000 में दूंगा और 10,000 में दूंगा। वो बना कर देता हमारी ये पता आपने मुझे नहीं जाता था, वो हमारे साथ खाना आएगा। मेरे अंदर उसका मतलब आ गया। हम लोग करते हैं, वो सजा नहीं करते। जब कोर्ट को ट्रायल करते हैं तो कोर्ट को 10 लाख रुपये आपसे हो जाएंगे। 10 लाख रुपये पकड़ कर लिया और वहां लोग उसके बाद करती है तो गाड़ी देने के साथ तो अपने आप चाव हो जाता है। वो चाव भी कर देता है। ये इतना पता जो कहने रुचि भी करने के लिए बाकी लोग मिलता है तो हम मिलता कुछ ना कुछ करें। ये लड़की दूसरे हस्बैंड की का फर्क है, विज्ञान का फर्क है। और जब उसकी अचानक अपनी अपनी माँ 2.5 साल में राज्य रही है, जो जवान देख रही है
The need of the hour is gender sensitivity amongst the police. Instead, the cops indulge in character assassination of the victim, giving little hope to these women who approach the police that there could be a deterrent for the brutes roaming around freely on the streets of Delhi. Abhishek Bhalla in Delhi for Headlines Today.
Disgusting, absolutely pathetic, and these are the police personnel who are supposed to be securing our young women and men. We've got several protesters out here with us at India Gate braving the winter chill. I've got Preeti. She's got several young people from the national capital with her as well. But I first want to go across to Dr. Kiran Bedi. Dr. Bedi, we saw in that expose, SHOs say that women bring rape upon themselves. If this is the attitude of police personnel, then how can women ever feel secure?
Well, that's a subculture we have to fight against, and the onus is on the department itself. You see, there are two. It's the leadership. It's follow the leader. Whatever language the leaders follow, and leadership is both political and departmental. I think this leadership has to compel a wholesale change. First, in their own mind, how they view police as. Is the police truly to be a friend of the people, or is it to serve themselves? The leaders and the politicians. What is the police meant for? If it is to be for a common man, then it's a wholesale culture change you're looking for, which means a wholesale intensive training, but it's following the letter and spirit of the law. The problem is not to twist the law as it suits a situation. What's been happening is that we've been abusing the law. We've been using the law as per the situation demands, as per the leadership demands, as per the politician demands. That wholesale change has to go to restore trust, which means a culture change, only a mindset of training. And
You're talking about mindsets changing very clearly, Shabana Azmi. Mindsets are very warped over here. These are police personnel who will be investigating cases. They're sitting on their chairs telling correspondents that women bring rape upon themselves. How can any of these young girls ever feel secure?
This really doesn't come as a huge revelation, because this happened even about 3 months ago, and the media covered it in a very big way, and that happened in the NCRT region. What has happened to those SHOs? Was any action taken against them? People sitting in uniform saying that a girl who accuses somebody of rape is either a prostitute or an extortionist, which respectable woman will come forward and claim rape? That's why what is important is when a woman accuses a man of rape, then the onus of innocence should rest with the man, because the woman has too much to lose for faking that. After that, the process that you have in trial, in which there is a double rape that she has to face because of the line of questioning, because of which we've been asking for in camera. But going back to the police, the oft claimed remark is, but they are a product of our society and this is the way our society is. All right, but when you wear a uniform and when you occupy a post, then you have to remove all the wrong ideas that you have. And what is the process of recruitment? What is the gender sensitization? On what basis are we taking on the police, and what are we doing about training? What are we doing about it?
Kumari, these are predetermined mindsets, and if you just look at these police personnel, you know that any case that comes to them, justice can never be expected to be done.
Well, first of all, Rahul, shame on the system which is there to protect our people. They swear by the Constitution of India when they get into that post, and they are not really following the spirit of the Constitution of India. They just don't deserve to be there. But as we have heard about these cases, we know that in spite of so many efforts of gender sensitization, there is no continuity about that. Nobody wants to change this mindset, and they reflect the kind of background, the kind of society they come from. Every day and night they are beating their women in the homes, they are seeing their mothers being beaten up. So when they come out, they think that women are to be targeted. Women's bodies are there just to be used for their own sexual gratification.
Ma'am, the question about what is being done to these SHOs, the fact that such exposés come out, there is a hullabaloo, people come out into the streets, but the system fails to act against these errant police officials. Therefore, there is no deterrence, there is no prevention next time.
Yes, Rahul, you are right. Actually, there is no fear for justice, and we need to punish such people, whether they are police.
So why is it not done?
No, I can't answer this question of yours.
Yesterday the Joint Commissioner said we are doing inquiry, I mean, how long do you want to do inquiry before you punish people who are holding a mindset where city is suffering day and night, girls are suffering anywhere, you are not feeling safe. There is so much of insecurity. Ask any young girl today, and then there is inquiry. I mean, there is
Meenakshi, these inquiries are very convenient, you know, they are ordered, and then there is very little follow-up, and the moment the anger dissipates, the SHO is back, he's got his feet on the desk, and he's making such loose comments against him.
No, exactly my point, that when instead of justice and the law of the land, it is the political expediency or any other official expediency which is at work, rather than the work itself. The work itself is controlling law and order situation. The work is to change the mindset of such people. Law is to punish people in whatever manner and maybe train them. I mean, put them in the lines and enforce that they undergo a certain gender training program or whatever, rehabilitation of them also, the police officers. That aside, but whenever such, you know, I'm hearing noises both in the parliament and outside, I mean, and I feel it's a mockery of the entire system, because these are the very people who have flouted the system, who have actually made a mockery when the Supreme Court has ordered certain issues. President Patil goes and announces pardon to all such people for political expediency again. So I think let the law be, let the judiciary deal with the cases as and when they come, because I don't agree with the mindset that all rape victims are one way and all rapists are one way. There are categories within the rape. Rape is a very generalized term. So allow the specialists to deal with those categories.
And don't pardon rapists.
Don't pardon people who have flouted the law. Whether it is traffic, whether it is anything, I mean, you have to fall back to what the law of the land is, and law of the land has to be enforced.
But the law of the land is fairly immaterial at a time when the law enforcers themselves have such warped mentalities. I want to go across to Preeti, my colleague. She's got several young kids with her, women who feel very insecure. The insecurity, Preeti, even greater because of the fact that police personnel have such depraved mentalities, Preeti.
Well, you're right there, Rahul. The anatomy of rape, that is how it's understood in this society. If a woman complains of sexual harassment, of molestation or rape, she is asking for it. I have Anuradha with me. Anuradha, what do you reckon when you go across and you say you've been sexually harassed? How is that perceived from a police personnel to a common man walking in the streets of this country today?
First of all, I'll tell you what happens is the very whole business of this that is going on of women asking for rape or provocative dressing, as if there have been no cases of sexual harassment or molestation when women are wearing salwar suit or burqa for that matter. So it's not as if women are asking for it, but it's just that the whole idea behind the police mentality of that whoever goes and complains, this idea behind a free woman, a liberated woman is a bad thing.
It's a loose woman. A liberated woman is a loose woman. Would you tell me very quickly there, for a man in this country, if a woman is dressed provocatively, she's asking for it. If she is going out after 12 p.m., she's at 12 a.m. at night, she's asking for it. Do you think there is a mentality which exists where men in this country are concerned, that if a woman is going out at night dressing provocatively, she's asking for it?
I don't think so, especially in the educated men. I don't think they believe the same, but this usually happens when people are not accustomed to going along with women, or they do not have a woman.
There is a lack of respect where women are concerned in this country, right from the top brass to here.
Yes, I think it's not a question of education or class or caste. I think it's a basic thing that's inherent in the Indian mentality, that be it eve teasing or sexual abuse or domestic violence or rape, the onus of proving that something has happened always lies with the woman. And why is it so? Why is it that the woman always has to go and prove that something's happened to her, when it should be the system, it should be the state security forces that should be coming to her rescue instead?
One quick question this girl had to ask Miss Bedi in the panel there. You wanted to ask the question on security of women. You wanted to ask the question. Ma'am, this woman wants to ask the question directly to you.
Ma'am, I've been living in this city for 24 years, and I don't feel any safer now as I did as compared to when I did when I was 10 years ago. What is being tangibly done to make women in this city feel safer, and why is the onus of the safety on me? Why do I have to curb my own freedom? Why can't I own the city at night? What is tangibly being done to make me feel safer in the city?
Over to you, ma'am.
They want to make it gender neutral. What is gender neutral about it? No?
What I do see is,
Delhi police over the years Delhi as a city over the years has had no community policing plan. I've not seen combined group patrolling where cops and women police and citizen wardens and civil defense coming together. What the city needs, and that's what most of the cities have, is a proper community policing plan where communities are part and parcel of crime prevention. You see, you're all asking for hanging the man. I would say before hanging the man, prevent the crime. And crime must be prevented because hanging will take 10 years, 8 years. And in that crime prevention plan, you and I have to be participant. But you cannot tell the police to call you. Police has to invite you. Unfortunately, this is what has happened. It's an absence of community plan, a police community plan across the India. It's across cities.
Ma'am,
You have to demand it now. What am I asking you is, you demand it. You're asking for hanging of the culprit. I say you demand joint police patrolling. You demand youths to be the part of the PCR van. You people must demand youths to be sitting in PCR vans.
One person. Ma'am, I have a very pertinent question. I get the point of community policing, but the thing is, the place where the rape happened, there were 3 police stations that could be tracked around that area, okay? So the problem is that women don't feel safe about reporting a crime to the police station in the first place. How many rapes go reported and how many go unreported? So it is this apathy and disinterest that is perceived of the security forces of the state, of the Delhi police, that makes you not want to go there and report it to them.
You're right, and there is a reason for it. Do you know the reason? The reason is the entire policing structure based on statistics. How many complaints came? You will see the December crime whatever happened. You know the press at year end, NCRB. It will all be how many complaints came, whether they were more than last year, whether they were less than last year, to show artificial crime control. This pattern has to change. I'm so glad you're here because it's your right to demand good policing, which we're not getting. Because good policing practices have not followed over the years. Do you know Delhi had some excellent good practices which have fallen by, there's no accountability. You have no social public perception, you have no social audit. You need to demand social audit of the policing every year. So you tell us how many complaints came and what happened to them. There is no social audit. The police audits its own self. I would be one with you to be a part of this social audit to tell you what to look for. This is statistical process.
We're coming back to our audience in just a moment, but are things changing after this outrage that's been seen? 48 hours, there's been relentless coverage of the Delhi gang rape story. Are things changing? Preeti Chaudhary, in fact, last night went out into the streets. She was using public transport. She got accosted by young men. And what is most appalling is the attitude of the PCR van personnel who are standing right there, who see a young girl being heckled and harassed by rogues, and yet instead of coming in to help her, they say a complaint needs to be registered, only then will they move and act. Take a look at this.
Capital is up and shocked at the brutes are still hunting you. They're out on the streets, on the prowl, and you are not safe. Decibel levels went up in the national capital and across the country. Our leaders got angry. But just 2 hours after the candlelights went out on Tuesday, nothing had changed. 48 hours after the Delhi gang rape, our correspondent Preeti Chaudhary decided to check how safe was it to take a metro at 10:30 in the night. Two hoodlums spotted our correspondent, who seemed alone, and approached her.
नाम बताइए आप मुझे अपना नाम बताइए कौन है आप?
But one of the eve teasers spotted the camera. Upon realizing that their act was being recorded, the duo fled. All the while, a PCR van stationed near the spot did not move.
आपने वो नहीं देखा था जो इंसिडेंट सर वहाँ पर हुआ?
When we questioned the cops, they said they can act only if someone approaches them for help.
सर, आप अगर कोई इंसिडेंट आपके सामने हो, आप नहीं करेंगे? आप वहीं पर तो हुआ था?
It's 10:30 p.m. I was trying to approach a metro station at Lajpat Nagar, trying to take public transport home, which most women like me do at this hour. And sadly so, the story on the roads of Delhi doesn't seem to change. On Tuesday, the Delhi Police Commissioner had promised that every arterial road will have a PCR. Well, there was a PCR here, standing right there if my camera person can actually show you. And while I was walking up to the metro station, I was teased, I was harassed by 3 young men. The minute they saw Headlines Today cameras, they scooted from the picture. The PCR, throughout all of this, just remained on one side, marking presence but doing absolutely nothing.
Insta Track Band with Rahul Kanwar, the election epicenter with Gaurav Sawant and Javed Ansari, the Pandit Room with Rahul Shivshankar, the Number Half with Shivaru, and the best political team on Indian TV, Modi's biggest test, blanket coverage from 6 a.m. Thursday.
From India Gate in New Delhi, where hundreds of protesters, young men and women, have turned out to express their outrage against the Delhi gang rape. But they're not here just to make noise. They're seeking change, they're seeking permanent redressal of their grievances, and as of now they're feeling very vulnerable. Through the day today, there were protests all across the country. Very unfortunately, right outside the Delhi Chief Minister's residence, young protesters had water cannons being fired at them. Is this the manner in which the state should be attacking completely apolitical protesters who are only out on the streets, giving up what they would have been doing otherwise to make a point? Should the state be using the might of its machinery to clamp down on these innocent voices in this fashion? Take a look at this.
A nation is erupted at the depravity of rape. What's the hypocrisy unfolding on your screens? The Delhi Chief Minister, a woman herself, choosing to respond with force, crushing the massive protests outside her residence. Delhiites, fed up with promises, want action now, but the police who failed to protect them are unleashing lathis and water cannons on them.
The anger and discontent fueled by what happened on Sunday night simply refuses to die down. As you look around, the entire traffic at the busy ITO junction has been blocked by a large group of women who are protesting what happened on Sunday night and what they perceive as a lack of action from the side of Delhi police. We spoke to some of the protesters who said that their demand is that a set of laws be implemented and some effective action be finally taken in this regard. If you can see on both sides of the busy highway, these women have managed to block the entire road, leading to a huge chaos which will very soon run into kilometers from here.
It wasn't just Delhi that came out with a firm message that enough was enough. The entire country, from Mumbai to Varanasi to Thiruvananthapuram, have united to pray for its brave daughter as she battles for life. Insisting that they would not forgive and forget this time.
We are just trying to make people aware that we are not going to be quiet anymore to such violence against women, and we want justice for that lady who's dying in the hospital, and we don't want such incidents ever to happen.
और दिल्ली में ये घटनाएं आए दिन हो रही हैं। सवाल इस बात का है कि दिल्ली में महिलाओं की सेफ्टी सिक्योरिटी की जिम्मेदारी सरकार लेगी कि नहीं
मिलेगी। हम लोग यहाँ पर शीला दीक्षित सरकार पर प्रोटेस्ट करने आए हैं। बहुत शेमफुल बात है कि हम लोगों के ऊपर वाटर कैनन छिड़ा गया। मेरा नाखून बुरी तरह से इंजर्ड है। लड़कियों को एक साथी है, उनको मेल पुलिस ने पीटा। लेकिन इस सवाल पे कि रेप जैसी इस घटनाओं पे दिल्ली में कैसे रोक लगेगा, पुलिस का कोई रिस्पांस नहीं है, गवर्नमेंट का कोई रिस्पांस नहीं है।
India is outraged and the anger will not ebb away easily. While our elected leaders quell voices of dissent with force and indulge in photo activism and speechbazi, the nation will not give up in its fight to ensure that the monsters who brutalized a 23-year-old victim will not go unpunished. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
There's anger, there's outrage, but how can we ensure that there is permanent change? Madam, I want to talk about the incident outside the Delhi Chief Minister's residence. As a police officer yourself, do you really think it's important for the police force to use, water cannons against innocent apolitical protesters who are only there to make a point?
You see, let's look at the situation technically. If that situation is demanding dispersal, because if you don't get dispersed, they will enter the building.
No, but nobody is looking to storm into the Chief Minister's residence.
I'm now technically answering it. I'm not defending or attacking. Let me analyze it for you. Supposing there's a large crowd and it is violating, let's say, a prohibitory order. Once you say you can't move beyond this, then technically you have to disperse them. So the only way to disperse them is you tear gas them, lathi charge them. Water cannons is coming before that lathi charge.
Meenakshi wants to come in and counter that.
You see, my analysis would be that if there are protesters who are just there to make a certain point, and for example they are there to come with their grievance before the Chief Minister, I think Chief Minister or some high officer, principal secretary or somebody should approach those protesters, ask for their demands, take the notes, take their numbers, tell them we'll get back to you and we will enforce, we'll try and enforce. And non-violent protesters should not be dispersed in this manner, because the might of the state should be used to subvert the people who are unauthorizedly, illegally breaking the law,
but
not the ones who are demanding the right
public
things.
personnel be behind high walls and fortifications? Why can't they come out and meet these young people, say, okay, I'm as concerned about your security as you are and I'm here to help you?
Well, I really don't know about this incident, but I'm quite shocked to find out about it. And although I take the point that Kiran Bedi is making, the fact is that there was very little likelihood of these people really storming the bastion, as it were. And what is required at the moment is an effort to assuage and to understand the outrage, the insecurity, and you have to deal with kid gloves and be extra sensitive. So the sense of outrage at least finds a release that हमारी बात तो सुनी जा रही है,
which is not being done in this case.
Rahul, I want to intervene. I saw one interview of CM. She was saying that I want to go out and talk to these people, provided they are peaceful and they really want to talk to me.
Which of these people look violent to you?
No, you can't compare this situation with that situation, because both of us were not present there. You can't draw conclusions like this. Maybe the situation was like that, that they had to take this step, and I agree with Kiranji. This is the first step which they could have taken, and maybe it was a need.
Ranjana disagrees.
I think there is time when the distance is growing between people's democratic rights and their assertions about those rights and the leadership, and that is very visible, that more and more leadership is trying to cover itself behind big walls, more fences, more police, and they are not coming forward to listen. There was a time when same JNU, I was also a student of Jawaharlal Nehru University, we went protesting in front of Morarji Desai's residence. Prime Minister Wilson came out and took the memorandum from our hands, and that is very important, that you give that level of comfort to the students.
Should have been done by the Delhi Police Commissioner.
You send the memorandum.
I tell you what I think should have been done by the Delhi Police Commissioner, and maybe you wouldn't have had these students waiting here, and maybe these children, boys and girls, may not have gone. You know what could have been done by the police commissioner? He could have listed out all the preventive measures from today in place, that the people should have been able to see.
But nothing has changed. But nothing has changed, Dr. Bedi. We saw.
What is wrong with that?
Listen, no, 1 minute.
Listen to
I think there was no declaration. I didn't see the public relations officer of Delhi Police anywhere. They should have listed out that to assuage public feelings, here are a list of things which we're going to do, put in place, and saying he will himself supervise it to see that these things are going to be enforced. I didn't see that.
Preeti was out on the streets last night. Preeti, the fact is there were these police personnel standing next to the PCR. Nobody came to help you. They're seeing
yesterday
a young girl being harassed and nobody else to come and help.
You're right there, Rahul, because that's what happened, and that's what I think 80% of the girls will say exactly the same thing. These are the girls who go out, ma'am, 8 p.m. onwards, try and get home with public transport. They try and approach a cop on the road. Yesterday, I was on the streets, harassed at 10:30. I went to a PCR standing right there next to while I got harassed. The response I got was, जब हमें 100 number call करेगा तब हम हिलाएंगे गाड़ी. So if they see an incident happening in front of them, they will not do anything. Most of these kids today, now coming back to the question that Madam Anjali was putting forth, have taken lathis on their back today. They have come back here today to protest. All the political tokenism aside, these are the heroes of the day. Let me give the, you have a question to ask.
I have a question for Ms. Lekhi. So why is there so much tokenism happening? Why has the BJP all of a sudden woken up? And why is such a heinous crime being used as a tool for reactionary politics?
I'm sorry, it's not a reactionary politics one is talking about. If BJP is in power or is in opposition, any human being on this earth, any citizen of this country is going to protest. And don't talk about BJP alone. I think BJP has to do its job. So far as government has not done its job, BJP better tell the public what is the job which is required of the government, and they better do it. I have every right to talk about politics, because politics is about governance, and if governance failure is there.
Sorry, but I object to the way Ms. Sushma Swaraj spoke in the parliament today. She openly says that अगर वो लड़की जिंदा बच भी गई तो वो एक जिंदा लाश बन के रह जाएगी. Why do we have this idea of being so ashamed?
It's not about being ashamed, madam.
Just you are a public leader. You cannot make a statement like that. कि अगर वो बच भी गई तो जिंदा लाश बन जाएगी. Why should she be a जिंदा लाश?
I'll tell you why.
Man become a zinda lash?
I'll tell you why. It's very emotional.
We understand the angle.
I understand. I completely.
This is not the way a public leader or a person who is elected by people can make a statement like that.
I'll tell you.
That is not acceptable.
It may not be acceptable to you, but I can ask 1,000 other people for whom it will be acceptable for the simple reason. Allow me to complete.
Don't take a call without asking us. The public is not at your disposal.
My question is that when a person has been so brutally treated, her internal organs are in a bad shape, completely mangled, and it was in this sense that she said that a person who has acted in this fashion, for such a person is almost like murdering a person, and a person will be like a zinda lash. It was in that context, and person should be given a death penalty. You can't assume what I have to say as I can't assume what you are saying.
I will object to what you are saying in the sense because if she survives, it is only on medical grounds that she will survive. And if she survives on medical grounds, what does Ms. Swaraj mean when she says that she becomes a zinda lash?
No. You're taking it on the emotional language.
Ma'am, I want to ask, talking about prevention, don't you think it's time to set an example? Shabana Azmi. Ma'am, the young lady wants to ask you, isn't it time to set an example? What's your question? Ma'am, talking prevention, isn't it time to set an example so that people fear from committing such crimes? What is being done regarding that? Capital punishment. She's talking about, shall we go ahead with the capital punishment is what she's talking about for a crime like rape.
Death penalty is not the answer. Death penalty has been pointed out that the evidence that is required is so stringent that it is so difficult to establish in the case of rape that the likelihood is that the rapist is going to get away scot-free. What is required is certainty of punishment. Certainty and severity of punishment. Death penalty is not the answer. Everybody over here is saying phansi do. That's not going to be the answer. You have to have...
That's where I'm saying. That's where I will ask you.
Define severity of punishment. Do you know what happens in the Middle East if a rape?
Yes, I like to answer you right now.
Thing happens
in this context.
They just castrate his genitals.
I'll come. That's where I want to come in.
Then I guess this is a very good solution.
I am absolutely convinced that death penalty is not the answer. That if there is certainty of punishment, if the conviction rates weren't as low, अगर उसको पता चले कि उसको 100% सजा मिलेगी, then
That's the deterrent. No, but why not the death penalty? Because there's a sense that unless a message is sent, there will never be any deterrence.
Rahul, if you ask me my personal opinion, the person should be just hanged here and we should shoot him. But at the same time, you have to understand the nuances of the law and the legal system. Since independence, we have given death penalty only to about 45 people. Okay, 40,000 cases of rape is somewhere or the other pending in the courts. How will you really prove? And rarest of the rare case that you give the death penalty. That means every rapist will go scot-free. Please try to understand the politics of it. People who are talking about death penalty are not serious about punishing the rapists. Please understand the politics. There is no question of death penalty. Punish everyone with whole life.
Kill the girls to ensure that there are no witnesses left.
Every minute of the day.
Is not the first jump. You give it. Death penalty is not the first. It's a graded. You put it from 7 years, bring it life imprisonment.
Yes,
bring it life imprisonment and leave it to the court. I think she wants to speak.
My point is that death penalty, as per the sentencing policy of this country, death penalty is in cases where murder or the capital crime has happened. Now in cases where capital crime is enhanced by a rape and a murder, why should death penalty not be given in those cases? Allow me to complete, Ranjana. Allow me. Even when death penalty in those cases is there, those people are given pardon, and there is another set of cases where a person has suffered permanent injury to the body. For example, somebody's hand has been severed, somebody's neck has been severed, but person has survived, somebody's eyes have been gouged out. Why should death penalty not be given in those cases? Because these are cases very close to attempt to murder. It was in this context.
Go on, please.
When will we and you and all the authorities in charge accept that there has been a failure of the law and order situation in this country?
Completely.
That even in the capital city of India, in Delhi, women are told to stay at home. Women do not feel safe. Why do you have to wait for such an incident to happen and then come out and talk about it? What is being done every day? What does the National Commission of Women do? What are the authorities doing? Why are we so comfortable with the fact that we are living in a city that is dangerous for women after 8? How can we live in a country like this?
I agree completely.
Violence against women has the tacit approval of society. It is used as an instrument to subjugate women, to bring them into submission and to control them, and we let it happen. Why do we accept sexual harassment? Have we put laws of sexual harassment in place at the workplace, whether it is in the private sector or in the public sector? Why do we say eve teasing? It is molestation, which is not to be tolerated.
Ma'am, the laws are there. The laws are there. It is what happens once the incident takes place. How do you go to the court? How do you go approach the police? What is the process involved? It is so difficult. It is even people like me who are aware of the law, who studied law, will hesitate to go to the police.
Absolutely right, and that is the first point that I made, that it is so difficult for a girl to actually go and register such a case, because the very people who are supposed to be our custodians of safety are the people who have a mindset, who accuse the victim and say it is the victim's fault, somehow she has invited herself. And you're absolutely right, this is something that every segment of society, not just one, has to understand and take measures. Abhi to josh hai. Afterwards, in another 2 days, the media's attention will go away. All of us will not have the persistence that is required to carry this to its logical end.
No, but a victim, ma'am, in India gets raped many times over. Once by the accused and then also by the system.
Rahul, I want to carry forward the saying. They must admit the system is failed. Yes, but who declares the system is failed? The Home Minister, the Police Commissioner? They'll never say it. They'll never say and they'll never admit it. You have to have an external independent agency which looks at the policing and declares. It's like the CAG. It's like the CAG. Will any department itself say we've been corrupt? It's the independent CAG. It's an independent CAG. Now 1 minute. I want to say 1 second. Let me complete my statement. Unless you have an independent audit of police performance in this country, you will never have an improvement, I can tell you. It's time for an independent audit. audit of the police performance, and it's an annual perception of the people. Do they trust the police?
Insensitivity and all kinds of, the kind of political apathy, and people sitting in the places of power and who are managing the statecraft are the people who have no political will whatsoever to protect and defend our girls, our women, and our children in the womb. How much should India and Indian women and Indian girls tolerate? How far should we look at them as politically insensitive?
There's some more young people who want to make a point in the audience. Yes, go ahead.
I want to raise the issue of non-physical violence also being recognized with very serious gravity. So I had this incident where I was with a friend, and in a place like a Pizza Hut, that this waiter made her very, very uncomfortable. And apart from raising in my protest with that particular person, I couldn't go and raise it to the manager and make sure that it can't happen. So I actually felt very helpless at that particular situation. So even this must be treated with as a very grievous offence.
And Ma'am Kiran Bedi talked about demanding for a social audit for Delhi police. My question is, when are the demands ever heard? For crying out loud, the people of this city have been demanding proper enforcement of law and order for ages. That demand has not been fulfilled. How can you possibly have the confidence that this would be heard?
I think this is a time for a very strong PIL. We get this direction from judicial activism, a direction from judiciary to see that a social audit is conducted every year of every metropolitan police. You demand politically may not get acceptable, but I think it's time for judicial. I think the Delhi High Court has taken suo moto notice of cognizance of what has happened. I think if an added on, you people can put in a petition to say we want a social audit of metropolitan police, I think you've achieved something great. Try doing things. Think about it.
Judiciary already overloaded.
No.
Shame that
Delhi,
Supreme Court
I
and the
know,
High Court
but
has
in
to
this
come in
case,
with
if you want social audit, you will need judicial activism. It will not come through the politician.
Okay, we have time only for one final comment.
I very much accede with Ms. Kumari's facts that many of the rape cases just go unnoticed. Ma'am, it's my direct question to you that why does Delhi police always botches up the cases like Rafa Dafa Kardo? It's an open and shut case for Delhi police for most of the rape cases. Like this year itself, there was a molestation that happened in Guwahati and it happened in full public view. We don't know whether those culprits were incarcerated or whether they're going scot-free.
They've been convicted. Guwahati people have been convicted.
But then we had a very early final comments, ma'am, and I want to take it one by one with all our guests. We'll start with Shabana Azmi. How do we ensure that all these people who've come out at India Gate in this December winter chilly evening actually see something achieved from what they are doing? How do we ensure that this anger doesn't subdue and everybody goes back to life as normal?
I think each one of us has a role to play. Political will, most certainly, but we as a collective and every segment of society has to use this outrageous incident as a wake-up call to say that we have to persist till we take it to its logical end. What happens is we react after the incident, then there is outrage for some time and everybody then goes back to business as usual. We have to make sure that we take this case and push it to its logical end, and it is relentless. It takes a lot of time, it requires a lot of patience. I think there's a very good point that Kiran Bedi has made, that it is a time to bring out a PIL and have a social audit and demand an independent body. That would be a concrete action.
Kumari, concrete action points which are doable.
I think all the young ones who are here should create a group, a social watch group, and please watch every word that Home Minister has said. He is going to set up this fast track court for this case. Watch it, see it, how far will they go, and keep their promises about having a special squad, doing training, trying to do all kinds. Keep the watch and come up like this, the same way as we all have come up today, to show that we are not going to take it lying low anymore. Every honor of every girl matters to us.
Rahul, we start reacting when such cases, rape cases, which happen to take place in public, take place, then we start reacting. But what about, I'm more concerned about all those girls about whom we don't think even, like 90%, in 90% rape cases, rape is done by the known people, maybe the family members, neighbors, and most of the times those cases are not being registered also. So I think the root cause is to change the mindset of people. Till now, people treat women like object of pleasure. So we need to change the mindset of society, and I'm happy to see that large number of young people have come here, and if these people, they always remember that they at least they change their mindset, and then they remember that they have to respect women, and they have to keep this
final comments from Meenakshi as well.
You see, according to me, there are several vacancies which are lying unfilled in the Delhi police. There is an administrative failure in the sense, I do not know, I'm a Delhi girl for 45 years. These cases I can enlist from my childhood till date, and have seen them all over and have handled a couple of them professionally also. Nothing much happens except that person who's involved and couple of people who are with that person. And rehabilitation process is very, very apologetic in this whole setup.
Are you hopeful that there will be change, or will these people just be back at the time the next gruesome rape happens?
I don't think we should give up till the police commissioner declares his crime prevention plan for effective from tomorrow, which means we need to see more visible police. We want to see senior police officers travel in public transport buses late in the evening hours. We want to see government officials getting out of government cars and taking the public transport to let people know we are with you. This must go on for next 3 months till it becomes a habit. I want to see a crime prevention plan, patrolling with police at vulnerable areas with 614 PCR vans from tomorrow. I think till it is in practice, we will not be able to prevent this rape.
And the police needs to wake up. They can't pretend that they need to wait till complaints get registered before they start acting. They need to be more proactive, and the pressure needs to be relentless. Only then will real change happen. Otherwise, the anger will subdue, the headlines will change, but the situation on the ground won't. To all my guests for having joined us for the special broadcast, our thoughts and prayers are with that young girl at Safdarjung Hospital, and to call her a Zinda Lash is most unfair and unfortunate. What is required is
it's another
it's
thing.
in a different
fair enough. What is required is to ensure
punishment,
that she gets the best medical treatment, that she recovers, and we put in place a system to ensure that such a thing doesn't happen. To all our guests for joining us tonight, thank you very much. News and updates continue when we come back on the other side. Stay with us, we're back in a minute.
Center Stage, brought to you by